what we're going to go on to do now is to talk to Miles, who's coming down the line from Kidscreen offices, or near the Kidscreen offices in Toronto. New specs and the ubiquitous beard.
Oh.
How are you?
I'm well, sir. And yourself?
Very good, very good. These panels have all been populated by Welshies tonight. Miles is a closet Welshie.
Is that a new term?
Yeah. So Miles, we're going to rattle through this really quickly because I know you're a very, very busy man because you've got a large conference to put on and a market event in a few weeks' time.
Yeah.
My first question to you is, we've been discussing it. We've been discussing how we're bringing the UK delegation to it. Can you give us a few stats on how it's grown and how it fits into the market landscape generally, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, growth-wise, we moved from New York to Miami about 5 years ago. We are 5th year now in flight, and we've gone from about 1,450 delegates in flight to this year we're expecting an excess of 2,300. And that growth has been fueled by significant attendance from SVODs, both domestic, North American and international, but also a huge growth in LATAM and APAC markets as well. We've seen significant growth year over year. And again, this year we're seeing, I think right now we're running about 110 ahead of last year, 110 targets ahead of where we were last year, which is, for an event like ours, which has been in the marketplace for 16 years, to keep on growing as it's done is really a testament to where the industry is. And obviously it's a brilliant event. But it's just worked really well moving it to Miami. We're very, very happy down there. And the corresponding increase in attendance has just been reflective of the industry as a whole as well.
And one of the different features of Kidscreen is that it all takes place within the one building, so you're not trekking up and down the road to find your meetings. It's all in one place. But then, who are we having those meetings with? What sort of people are we likely to get the chance to meet there?
So you'll see everyone from your traditional broadcasters from literally all over the world. We have just under 50 countries represented last year. You'll see your Disney's, your Cartoon Networks, your Nickelodeons internationally, domestically, BBC, CBC, CBBC, ITV, French channels, German channels, Italian channels, Spanish channels, Asian channels, Australian channels. Netflix is a massive presence this year. There's going to be probably 28 people from Netflix in attendance, plus large contingencies from Amazon, Hulu, and Apple as well. So you'll see the people that you may have seen for the last 15, 20 years, but you'll also see companies who are coming in attendance for the first time. But not just the big SVODs, but also the smaller SVODs as well, the regional ones. So you'll see a vast cross-section of broadcasters, but also production partners, distributors, toy companies, publishing houses, tech companies, venture capitalists, financiers, legal companies. Just about everybody that you need to speak to do business is going to be there in various capacities, but all just wandering around on one very, very busy floor. It's kind of like Regent Street on Boxing Day. It's just slammed on the floor there. It's great.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the geography of it all. I mean, there are some private rooms, aren't there, where you've got some of the bigger companies. You've got a very large delegate lounge and sort of ancillary areas where people eat their lunches, but can also spill over and have meetings. That is relatively informal, isn't it? The meetings, the placing of meetings.
Yeah, the way that we set it up, we learned our lesson from New York is that you had some companies who did want private spaces, suites to take meetings where they could close doors. We've got those. We've got about 16, 17 suites where companies can, will, and do take private meetings, but they also expect kind of walk-up traffic too, because they're all called out on the map. We've got the big delegate lounge where we've got 2/3 of the lounge is open seating, where we've got these very, very Nice couches from IKEA. I was being generous there. And then we've got reserved meeting tables for companies within that same space. But then we've also got carved out sections for large delegation representation from the UK, from France, and from Canada. So it's a big space. It's a space which gets really busy, but there's always somewhere to sit on that second floor where you can meet people. And what we've also done as well, we've got 3 meeting points where you can rendezvous with your meeting partner, and so you'll say meeting point 1, 2, or 3. You'll go there, meet at the space, and then you can go to wherever it is you want to go and sit down and take your meeting. And in that same space as well, what's nice is it sounds simple, but we also run tea, coffee throughout the course of the day. So if you want to grab some tea, sit down with a meeting, you can do that during the course of the day, and that's all included in the price of your registration as well.
And so your breakfasts and lunches, which again it sounds petty, but actually these things really matter. When at CMC we changed lunches from a lunch queue into lunch bags, everybody was over the moon because they suddenly said, I no longer need to talk to for 20 minutes the person I'm queuing with. I can grab a bag and talk to 10 people in that 20 minutes. And you're providing the lunches and the breakfasts on site makes a massive difference to the dynamic of what goes on.
It really does, and it's something that we've always enjoyed doing, and I think it's central to the whole feeling of the event that it's a little less formal and a little bit more relaxed, because you can sit down at breakfast or lunch and start chatting to somebody sitting at the table next to you and have those kind of networking conversations that you were speaking to in the previous session. And that's something that we've really tried to foster, is that openness and that ease of communication between every delegate that's there. And, when you've got that many people from that many countries, it's an easy conversation because you're all in the same business, but you just don't know who you're going to sit next to and have this conversation with. And that's something that we really enjoy. And I think it's central to the whole vibe of the event that stays in place, and we've got no intentions of taking that away ever.
Now, your meetings are generally half an hour long, aren't they? There's a sort of half-hour rolling structure to that. That's reflected, for example, on the UK stand. The tables are bookable in half-hour slots. But so at these meetings, the old hands are going to get they will already have set up many of their meetings. Many meetings are already set up. What are the opportunities for newcomers to get some traction with some of the key players? Because you have semi-formal events in which that can happen.
Yeah, we've got a variety of different functions where people who are attending the event for the first time, who want to speak to somebody from a PBS or a Netflix or an ABC Australia. And so we've got sessions set up where we do 30 minutes with, and it's a broadcaster, it's a distributor who's in a room for 30 minutes talking about what they're doing, how they do business, who they're looking to partner with. And those are great ways to be able to find out what they're looking for, but also then potentially to sit there and grab 5 minutes of their time afterwards. Their time is in high demand.
Or at least get the business card across.
They know this, they're there for a reason. But it's an easy way to just introduce yourself, and then when you bump into them at Starbucks or in the lunch line or at one of the many cocktail events that we have going on during the course of the week, it's another step in the conversation and another step in the communication and networking piece there. Some of the events do require a sign up, but as with anything, when somebody signs up, on the day there are always people who don't attend and don't show up. So I would recommend going to those, those lunching with roundtables or those cocktails with that have required an advance sign up, and just hanging out and seeing if you can get in the door and meet some of these people, because there's always extra space on the day. Yeah.
And anything particularly new this year that we should hear about?
In terms of new, honestly, we've kept the format fairly consistent throughout the year because, quite frankly, it works. So why change it? But the key is obviously it's the content that we've got going this year. It's reflective of the industry and the shifts that are going on in the industry, domestically, nationally, but also internationally as well. Because the world is shifting. How kids consume media is shifting, and you need to be on top of that and hear what people have to say. But we've got some very, very pertinent panels, which I would recommend taking a look through the schedule and earmarking some of those. And, it can be tempting to go there and just do meetings, but there is some brilliant content there, and we've got some superb speakers. The keynotes that we've got this year are just, they're just top notch. And so I would definitely recommend that Monday morning if you want to go to that first keynote, get there early, because that'll be standing room only.
Miles, thank you very, very much. Thanks for waiting for us, and thanks for putting it on, because we have a great time there, and we're very pleased to be bringing the Brits to you, or some of the Brits to you, and I hope we'll see you at our reception on the Sunday evening. Yeah,
I'll be looking at even more to travel than I currently do, because it'll be the end of Senate days, so I'll likely be in shorts and a t-shirt, so I'll apologise in advance, okay?
We'll live. I've seen you in a t-shirt before.
There you go. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. So that's Kidscreen, and those of you who are still considering going, it is still worthy of consideration. That it is a fantastic opportunity. If you're not quite sure about that, then let me immediately say to you, the CMC in Sheffield in July is definitely your first port of call as you explore these markets, because there, as Georgina said earlier, what is revealed is the flexibility, the openness, the friendliness of the children's media industry. When I was asked by my partner in Sheffield, Kathy, should we perhaps do a little professional conference day around this children's film festival that I run, I said, well, you can, but nobody'd come, and they won't talk to each other, and they don't like each other, and they won't reveal, even if they talked, they wouldn't reveal any secrets, and I was immediately proved wrong. I then said, well, of course, they won't come for a second time, and we're now 16 years in, and they do, and 1,200 people come, and 1,200 people are incredibly well networked through CMC, and people do learn there, and then can take those steps into export and into these markets. Just a very quick revelation. This is last year's UK Kidscreen brochure. What Tony was talking about, the 6 months down the line, a study's been done with the companies who attended as to what confirmed business was made at Kidscreen, and that comes to currently £41 million and counting. We're still counting. The previous year was 51 million at the end of it. Kidscreen is valuable. Getting your start with CMC is a valuable way to do it.